Welcome to Vermontitude, a collaborative effort between Great Eastern Radio, the Brattleboro Reformer, and BCTV to bring you the stories behind the stories on the topics you want to learn more about. Because there's always more, so there'll always be Vermontitude. Hosted by me, Peter Fish Case. Welcome to Vermontitude. New episodes drop every Tuesday and can be found by going to vermontitude.com, reformer.com, brattleboro.tv, and locally on Comcast Channel 1078. We come to you from our studios at the Innovation Box on Landmark Hill. I'm Peter Fish Case, and each week I cover the topics that are of concern to Windham County and the towns that reside within its borders. Today we're talking housing with Timm Harris, who's on the board of the Brattleboro Area Affordable Housing, and Jake Bursky, who is the coordinator for SASH. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so now we're talking about housing. Let's get into it. What does that look like? Timm, let's start with you, and you tell me. So Brattleboro Area Affordable Housing is an all-volunteer organization.
That's correct. We have a very active board of 9 people at present. We were founded in 1995 by Byron Stuckey, which some people may know.
Oh, I know Byron.
Yeah, Byron's a great guy.
Godfather of housing.
Yeah, and Alan Myrick. So they started this organization because they saw a need for an organization that could sort of work between the lines of your standard kinds of groups. Because we're independent and because we're not funded by the state or the Fed, we can provide assistance that don't necessarily fit all the rules and regs that they have, HUD and others. And so we have programs that support people that have housing difficulties in healthiness of their house or the safety of their house or funding constraints, as well as trying to increase the housing stock here in the Brattleboro area. And we do operate throughout Windham County.
Okay, it's good to know. Jake, so you're the coordinator of SASH. Explain to people who are watching and listening what that is.
Sure. So SASH stands for Support and Services at Home. So this program is run in a number of housing organizations throughout the state. And basically the idea is that we have an embedded coordinator that works on site with the people. So if folks have housing needs, whether it's calling on the Creative Community Housing Program or other stuff like that, then they have easy access to the coordinators.
Okay. And the ease of access, I guess, because this all sounds like it's designed to find housing and keep people in their housing. Have I kind of summed that up?
Not find housing. Basically, our 3 key programs right now are what we call apartments and homes, which is where we help people to create an apartment in partnership with the town of Brattleboro or outside of Brattleboro on our own. We have a program called Home Improvement Program, which helps people whose homes may have safety issues or health issues, and they're financially strapped. And then the last program, which Jake was referring to, is called the Creative Community Housing Program. And this is a pool of funds that nonprofits here can tap into to help their clients. So the people that actually run it are the case managers of 5 different nonprofits in the area, and they can get resources to help people with their rent, with a broken down car, so that they can stay in their home. And this fund is very flexible, and it is not tied to any as I said, state or federal regulations. And maybe when we get into it, we can tell you in a little more depth about those 3 programs.
All right. Well, let's get into it.
Okay. Well, Jake, why don't you take it away on our Creative Community Housing Program?
Awesome. Yeah. So as Tim had mentioned, this fund is really for the folks that are falling through the gaps. So a lot of the funding sources that are available for folks in need have very, very strict regulations about how those funds are able to be applied, or kind of like the timeliness that those funds can be applied. So CCHP is able to meet and really provide those funds for emergent needs. The request amount will be generally in the ballpark of like $300. So it's not a super deep subsidy, but it's really just filling in those gaps. And I think the most important facet of this program is that it is required to be kind of like held in parallel with a case management service. So we have representation from SEVCA, Winston Prouty, Women's Freedom Center, Youth Services, HCRS. I jump in there sometimes. So the idea is that we're taking that comprehensive approach, right? So we're providing the short-term need of just the dollars, but then the long-term support and oversight with a case manager. So it seems to be a pretty effective intervention for folks. And then this could not be happening without support from the Thompson Trust, who is they're super helpful for that. They are.
So, Tim, explain how a person would come to find the Brattleboro Area Affordable Housing. What channels they could go through if they need help, and how do they get to you to get the help?
Well, probably the easiest way, if you got a computer, is to go to our website, which is BAAH. We say BAAH, but BAAH Vermont spelled out .org. Okay. And there you can get our mailing address and our phone number. Our mailing address is P.O. Box 1284 Brattleboro 05302. And if somebody wants the phone and has a pencil in their hand, it's 802-246-2224. And it's an answering machine. We'll get back to you.
Okay.
So that's the way you can get contact. I wanted to add one thing to what Jake was saying.
Sure.
In December, we helped nearly 30 individuals or families stay in their homes.
Okay.
I think of those 30, 27 of them were problems with their rent. And they could have problems from their rent simply because they didn't have the income. Maybe somebody got sick. Maybe they were off work. The myriad of problems that somebody could have. And the other three, one of them was somebody needed a set of tires so they could go to work.
Right.
And they didn't have the money. And so we really helped a huge number of people for a small amount of money.
Right.
To stay in their home that otherwise would have been really vulnerable and really in trouble.
I've often said, for lack of a better thing to say, that we are all one catastrophic event away from needing that level of assistance.
Yeah, and these are the people we try to help. And our other program is with people who would like to create an apartment in their home. This program, actually, we started it, and it's actually gone statewide. And it's been extremely successful. And basically what it is somebody wants to create an apartment in their home that they own, an affordable apartment. They put in the money and do it, and then after they're finished, we will put in as much as $5,000 if they've spent $10,000 or more to create the apartment. And if we do it in partnership with the town of Brattleboro, they put in $3,000, we put in $2,000 for up to as long as the cost of the apartment created is at least $10,000 or more.
Okay,
and we've done something like 80 apartments.
Really?
Yeah, since '95.
Now, I feel like that I'm on the select board. I should have known that number, but that surprises me.
Some of your Brian and others, they know our program pretty well, and they've been very supportive, and because it's a way to create housing. Yeah, and that's what we desperately need.
And we're still in the town. I'm sure you're familiar with the study that said we are sitting at about a 500. Dwelling deficit.
Right. Yeah, Rachel Selsky did that, and she did a great job to point out the real emergency we have. We want to bring in additional people and give people good housing. We need to create more housing. So this is one way to do it.
So that's great. Jake, anything to add on to that?
Yeah, I would like to point out the efforts that are done with the home improvement program. So part of the effort is creating housing, and then part of the effort is maintaining that housing stock, right? So currently we have 7 open cases in that committee. And really kind of the work that's accomplished there is that we connect people with contractors, we connect people with funding, we connect people with social services. So really kind of doing the support that folks need to actually engage with the home repairs, because without that, you get units that are just falling apart, and that's really not going to be sustainable in the long term.
No, I think this is an interesting approach to housing. You have housing. Let's keep you there,
right?
So that we don't, so we're not, net sum gaining things where somebody has to leave their home because they need a set of tires. Right, what an awful way to lose your home because you can't get to work because you don't have safe tires,
or your water system breaks down and you don't have the money to fix it.
Right,
and they can come to us and we will help them do it. The bulk of our clients are with the Tri-Park area.
Okay,
but anybody who has a home and doesn't have the resources, because we're not here just to subsidize somebody who has those kind of resources to do that sort of work. It's for people that are hurting, and that we can help out.
Right. And as I said earlier, we're all one catastrophic event away from needing services or being homeless. And I guess that catastrophic event has a different price tag to it depending on where you are and your way to earn. Right. So, something like, I'll go back to the tire example, is might be easier for us to handle here without having to need services, but can be crippling to somebody else. So it's good to know that there's this kind of a safety net.
Well, and what Jake said also is we can make the decision right away. We don't have to go through a bunch of bureaucratic hoops. I'm
a big fan of no red tape.
Yeah, and a case manager brings it. As long as there's consensus with the other case managers from the organizations he mentioned, then we can provide that support. Overall, our budget is between $70,000 and $50,000 a year, and it comes through individual donations largely, and corporate donations, but as well as we look for grants locally, and we've been able to find funds from the Thompson Trust, from United Way, from the Holt Foundation, and VCF, Vermont Community Foundation.
Right.
And but of course the lifeblood of it is individual donations, and we do a fundraising every year in April. And so if you have a little left over when you've got your refund from your taxes, you might think about making a contribution to BAAH. Vermont.org.
Spell out Vermont. BAAH, Vermont. Get it? So, all right. Anything you guys want to add, Jake? Is there anything that you're thinking, I really want to get this out there?
Yeah. If I can do a shameless self-plug, the SASH for All program is something that's really exciting. So between Brattleboro Housing Partnerships and then Win & Windsor Housing Trust, we're starting this pilot program that's been running since September of 2022. So it takes that tried and true format of the support and services at home, which was typically aimed at elderly and disabled folks.
Right.
And then we're applying that at the family site. So again, coordinators like myself are really utilizing these funds that the Brattleboro Area Affordable Housing Board is sharing with the community to make sure that folks remain in their homes for as long as possible.
So is there a different way to get a hold of you?
Yeah. So my contact should be on the BHP website, but my email is J Bursky. That's B as in boy, U-R, S as in Stephen, K-Y at brattleborohousing.org. And that is all spelled out. It's a million letters, but I'm always happy to check in with folks and kind of share more about what we're doing.
Great. All right. Gentlemen, thank you so much for jumping on Vermontitude today and letting people know about this critical service that is just kind of running in the background and helping everybody out.
Absolutely. Thank you for the time.
Well, thank you for having us and being able to share our message to people that might have a need for our services. And we're here for this community. That's why we're here. All volunteers. We do have a part-time bookkeeper, but otherwise it's just a working board.
All right.
And everybody on the board works if you want to join the board.
There you go. Here we go.
And you're ready to work.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you. And you could do that through our website.
Great. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.